We welcome you back into Grand Slam Sports. My name is Jay Songe, alongside me Charles Foster and Jackson Strasburger. Guys, as we begin today, another NFC West Thursday night football battle. The 49ers, who are depleted about everybody on the offense and even defense as well, they still come out with the win in overtime against Los Angeles Rams. How about Mac Jones, guys?
Mac Jones, you mentioned it before the broadcast, has kind of looked like a reincarnation of Tom Brady these past few games. And Brock Purdy just got paid this offseason and has been getting outshone by Mac Jones whenever they were playing. The 49ers look good despite being extremely hurt. And we look at it, the biggest name of the night, Kendrick Bourne, out there amassing over 142 yards with 10 receptions. That Bourne and Jones connection from the Patriot days coming back together, and they looked really good.
Yeah, I said this last broadcast. I don't like this NFC West, a lot of these NFC West teams. I think they're all very overrated. The Rams defense just got exposed last night. I mean, just everybody was open, it felt like. And Christian McCaffrey, he had himself a game as well. Just a great game all around for the Niners and a bad game for the Rams. Able to keep it close, got that blocked field goal. That was a big part of it, too.
You look, it came down to the wire. The Rams were able to kind of run the clock down, score at the end, but Kyren Williams gets the football punched out by a second-round rookie out of Texas, Alfred Collins, who was in because of two injuries in that game to San Francisco's defensive line. Alfred Collins comes in the game, punches the ball loose from Kyren Williams, and that basically gets the Niners to win the end.
And yeah, I mean, we've seen this issue a little bit more. I mean, we saw it with the Jets where they got a punch out at the goal line. We saw it last year with Zay Flowers. I mean, that punch out's becoming a lot more common there. We see it now become the woe for the Rams. And I like to see, that next man up mentality. I think that's always been the 49ers because they have just been a borderline hospital room these past few years. So that next man up mentality, like you mentioned, to have receivers like Kendrick Bourne, Mac Jones, a backup quarterback, a backup lineman coming in to make the game-winning play. I mean, just completely next man up mentality here in San Francisco, and it looks really good.
And the Rams, they're still having those kicking problems right now. We saw them lose to the Eagles because their field goal got blocked. We see this game stay tied because of an extra point getting blocked. And Cardi, he has not been reliable as well, missing field goals time in, time out. The Rams, they've lost both these games because of kicking issues, Jackson.
Yeah, Cardi's looked good. Like, he's not been terrible, but he's just in these moments where he needs to be fantastic, he hasn't been. I mean, kicking an extra point gives you the lead. It probably means you win this game, and instead you go home with a loss in overtime. You win this in the regulation too.
And what do you guys think about the Rams going for on 4th and 1 in overtime? They had a chance to tie the game with about 2 minutes to go in overtime. Instead, they go for it on 4th and 1. They run the ball. They get stuffed. Thoughts?
I mean, I'm a big believer in looking in the past, obviously, hindsight's 20/20, and looking in that situation, I mean, I thought it wasn't a bad call. 4th and 1, I mean, you take that, you score a touchdown, you win the game. And so now, yeah, we're looking, it was a pretty bad call. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that was necessarily, it was a call I probably would have made.
Bad call there, maybe a good call in Cleveland as they move on from Joe Flacco. They're going to start the rookie quarterback out of Oregon, Dillon Gabriel. The Browns after 2 quarterbacks in the draft to get Gabriel and Sanders. They go with Gabriel here, quarterback 1 in Cleveland. The switch, is it the right move?
It's a hard one because I said last week I did not think Jackson Dart, was the move, and he balled out last week. And so, I mean, these rookies, they're a lot more NFL ready than they've ever been. And I think Dillon Gabriel, he's another question mark of, he's not a first-round pick like Dart was. He is, he's a very solid lefty. He played solid at Oregon. He's always been a good system quarterback, but the Browns, I think, might be in need of a little bit more than outside the system because the system itself is broken. But I think Dillon Gabriel, it's the right move. Joe Flacco had played atrocious other than that win against Green Bay, and even then it was still kind of questionable. So having that young, you lose nothing by starting these rookies. You go Gabriel. If he plays bad, you have Sanders. You have 2 very doable quarterbacks there.
Yeah, so last week I also mentioned about this might be too early for Jackson Dart to come in here. He played a great game. I still think it's probably a little too early. He showed out, but that's one game. I think this is the right time for Cleveland. They obviously need help. They have a quarterback with 27 QBR, second to only Cam Ward, who's on the Titans. You have the second worst offense in points per game. You need something to change. So you go with Dillon Gabriel, at least kind of get your future in the right direction.
The problem for the Browns now, this is their 41st different quarterbacks since they got back to Cleveland in 1999. 41 different quarterbacks in just 20 plus years. Not ideal for a franchise they just haven't found that quarterback. They had Baker Mayfield, but they let him go. And now he's, thriving in Tampa Bay. And then since then, it's just been a quarterback purgatory, year in, year out. They're going for another different quarterback, and you got to wonder, when is Cleveland going to find that quarterback one?
And I don't know if it's going to be these two that we're talking about here, between Sanders and Gabriel. But you mentioned it. I saw a person that, at a tailgate at a Cleveland game that had a jacket of all the quarterbacks, and he ran out of room in his back. And, I mean, that's the way that this team has gone with the Browns. And we now look at this, Dillon Gabriel at Oregon. He played the most games at a quarterback in FBS history. He had the most touchdowns in FBS history. He has played a lot. And I think that experience is going to be what's needed at the NFL level, because you're not throwing a 21-year-old in there. You're throwing a guy that's 24 years old. He's played some of the most college football games ever, and at a pretty solid level. I mean, Oregon was an elite program last year, despite not going all the way. So, I mean, I think Dillon Gabriel is it's now or never. It's not like the Browns are going to go anywhere.
And the good news is for Dillon Gabriel, he's been very good at not turning the ball over, especially in college. Very good touchdown to interception ratio. But some guys who look to turn balls over, they're cornerbacks. Charles, I know we have the tweet today about cornerbacks.
Yes, sir. And we're looking at this week's Extreme Tweet of the Week. And the tweet that we focused on this week is from Pat Surtain. Pat Surtain, he went out there and said his top 5 cornerbacks, and I'm going to read them off for you. His top 5 cornerbacks go as followed. At number 1, himself, of course. Number 2, Derek Stingley. Number 3, Quinyon Mitchell. Number 4, J.C. Horn. And number 5, Trent McDuffie. I draw it to you guys now. What are your guys' thoughts on this top 5 cornerback list?
I don't like Quinyon Mitchell, top 3. I just think he was a rookie last year. I think he's a top 10 quarterback already in the NFL, but I'm not sure if he's top 3.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this list. I feel like everybody on this list deserves to be in the top 10. I just don't think some of them are top 5. Like J.C. Horn being in the top 5 is maybe a little bit of a stretch. I like Horn. I think he's fantastic. Mitchell being in the top 5, I feel like that's a little questionable. But, I mean, the other 3 should all be top 5 or borderline top 5 cornerbacks.
And now I draw the question to you guys. What is your top 5 list outside of Surtain's?
See, I agree with PS2 being biased to himself, because, he is the best cornerback in the NFL. He won DPOY last year for a reason. Number 2, I also agree with him. I think Derek Stingley is really good over there in Houston. I'm going to go with McDuffie at 3. Christian Gonzalez, who's not on that list, I have him at 4. He's been really good there in New England. I'm going to end off the list with Jalen Johnson for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, he's injured right now, but we've seen what he can do when he's healthy.
Yeah, so I also agree with PS2 being first on the list. Next, I have Sauce Gardner, who you did not mention. I think he's still an elite cornerback, just in a struggling rest of the year defense. I feel like it's not his fault. He's playing great defense on his side. Number 3, I have Denzel Ward. Again, another team that's just struggling, but he's been fantastic. I mean, that Cleveland team, offense is one of the worst, but their defense is still top 5. I also have Humphreys in that 4 spot with the Ravens, and I have Derek Stingley going down to 5. I think he has that top 5 talent. I just need to see him a little more healthy, a little more consistency.
Yeah, and as we look at my top 5 now, my top 5 is a little bit similar. We have Patrick Surtain at number 1, Stingley at number 2. He has led the league in interceptions in the past 2 years. And number 3, Trent McDuffie. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. I think he is not getting as much respect because he's on the Chiefs. 4, I have Sauce. I know Sauce has struggled a little bit more, but I think if he takes down those penalties, he's top 3 cornerback in the league. And at number 5, I have Denzel Ward. Honorable mention, I will say this, Quinyon Mitchell deserves to be up there.
I agree.
Last year, he was 3rd in PFF rating for his overall cornerback score. He played phenomenal. He led the league, was 3rd place, my apologies, in the league in pass deflections as well. Kid's good. He's going to be on that list. He's just not there yet, in my opinion.
A lot of good cornerbacks in the NFL nowadays. What's crazy when you have Sauce Gardner, who, just a year ago was consistent as number 1 cornerback, not even in the top 5 anymore. A lot of good cornerbacks now in the National Football League. A lot of good players in the WNBA as well, and they're in the finals. We're going to get into the finals preview next. We've reached the final 2 teams in the WNBA. One we didn't expect, one maybe we did, but I guess you expected both of them. The Phoenix Mercury, the Las Vegas Aces are the final 2 in the WNBA. The Mercury take down the defending champions and the number 1 overall seed in Minnesota. The Aces barely get by an injury-riddled Indiana Fever team. in a 5-game series. But now we see the first ever best-of-7 series in WNBA history. The WNBA Finals should be a really good one, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I said it from the start. Mercury versus Aces was my prediction, and I'm right. Yippee. But I mean, yeah, looking at this, I mean, the Mercury, they have been set for playoff basketball. I mean, this team did struggle in the last half of the season, so people started to forget about how talented this team is. But we look at them now. You know, they have looked really good. They went out there and absolutely dominated against the Lynx. Now, despite Collier was out the last game, and that is unfortunate. We're going to get a little bit more into detail on that one soon. But I mean, we look at this with Phoenix. I mean, we saw Copper. She had 15 points. We saw Sabali. She's averaging 18. And we also look at Alyssa Thomas, third place in MVP voting, and she's been close to averaging a triple-double the entire season, and she has been dominant at the forward position for the Mercury.
Hey, I can't lie. Coming into the postseason, I thought the Mercury were going to lose first round to the defending champions. I was just very confident in Liberty, what they had. But the Mercury, they are a team as a team gets. They have multiple players who can go out and get a bucket. Alyssa Thomas, Sabali, they have numerous players that can go out and get you a bucket when it matters. And that's what they've been doing so far. Obviously, like you mentioned, the Collier injury really benefited the Mercury in the long run in that series. But still, they got it done, which the Aces barely did against the Fever team, who has almost the entire team out by this point. But the Aces, to me, they still have the best player, obviously, in the WNBA. They still have A'ja Wilson, and A'ja Wilson was, for the most part, dominant in the Indiana Fever series as well. So the Aces, they only have 1 or 2 scorers, but they still have a really, really good team and a really good coach.
Yeah, and as we look at the Aces, I mean, they are in that situation of, you know, they are kind of one-dimensional. If A'ja Wilson's not playing good, you know, they relied on Jackie Young, who still got it, and she had a really good series, averaging 20.5 points. So, I mean, having Jackie Young in that situation play that good is such a important aspect for the Aces, because they are currently in a situation where if A'ja Wilson does not play good, they don't play good. And that's a horrible thing for a 7-game series where, you know, just 1 or 2 games can absolutely, you know, end your season and derail you. So, I mean, we look at Phoenix. I mean, that's where Phoenix has that advantage, like we mentioned, is can they get everyone involved? They have a starting lineup of impressive players, and can they stop A'ja Wilson, or at least maintain her? Similar to the Jokic effect. You got to maintain her. You're not going to stop her.
That's the reason I put my paper. I said why they won't win it. The defense, if it's not as good as it was against Minnesota, they're going to lose this series probably in 5 games. They have to compete against A'ja Wilson. They have to defend A'ja Wilson and Jackie Young. Otherwise, they are not going to win this series. But for the Mercury, they need to make someone else beat them. But if you let A'ja Wilson and Jackie Young beat you, they're going to do it. But you have to make somebody else, a third player on the Aces team beat you, which so far the Aces haven't shown that ability.
Yeah, and if we look at who that third player could be, I mean, the answer is Chelsea Gray, and looking at her averaging 11 and 7, and Nalissa Smith as well, 9 and 5. I mean, she has not had a bad season either.
She's been good in the
The
playoffs.
Aces team, when they were hot, were the best team in the league. Now, the biggest thing for them is, can they get back to being hot? Because let's be honest, almost losing to an injury-riddled Fever does not make that look very good. This was a team that had not lost a game in almost 2 months, to now going out there and losing multiple games to a team that they should have swept, or at least only lost 1-2. It's going to be a little bit eye-opening to a team that has taken out the 2 best teams in this playoff, in my opinion.
And look at the season series so far between Las Vegas and Phoenix. Las Vegas, they won 3 of the 4 games, and they won the 3 most recent games. The only win was Phoenix's win back on the 15th of June. So the Aces, they've won the 3 of the most recent 4 games, so they've shown the ability to beat the Mercury.
And mind you, the Mercury were on a very bad cold streak at that time, and the Aces were on a hot streak. So, I mean, I think, you know, take that with a grain of salt, or take that as you will, as we look at these stats.
So Aces, Mercury, WNBA Finals. But the team who the Mercury defeated is the Minnesota Lynx. And Charles, I know Napheesa Collier, something to say afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Phee called out the league, and let's take a quick listen to what she had to say about the commissioner.
The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
We love to see that one, and I love me some drama, and for her to go out there and say that is very brave, because I mean we look at the league, that is something that needs to be talked about. Let's take a quick look. I remember whenever Caitlin Clark was about to be drafted, Fever right now had the #1 overall pick, and the biggest thing was Ice Cube's 3-on-3 league offered her $15 million to go play for them instead of WNBA. So to have the audacity and say that the only reason that Caitlin Clark is making the money that she is making because of your platform, whenever she was offered the exact same money at another platform.
And my thing is, the WNBA was not popular a few years ago.
No.
The popularity has increased by almost tenfold since Caitlin Clark has entered the WNBA. Caitlin Clark built this platform for the league. The platform did not build it for her.
Absolutely, and we take the Angel. I mean, there's a lot of Angel Reese haters out there, but I will be one of the first ones to tell you she has helped build that. Paige Beckers has helped build that. The WNBA is being talked about now because of these players, and to say that your platform is the reason, a company that has been losing money since it has been created, a company that has been held up by the shoestrings of the NBA, and to sit there and say that your no, and to have coaches, players, your second place in MVP in Collier go out of her way and talk about this on live TV. And you know what she had to say about it? You know what the commissioner had to say about it? Nothing. We haven't heard anything. She has barely said anything. She has not reached out to Clark, who has made her complaint. She has not reached out to Collier. There has been this issue of the company only cares about money. But the issue is they're not making any money. So they're not looking to actually make this deal any better. The CBA deal that they have in the first place is horrible, and this is the reason why have been protesting for the past year, 2 years at least.
And the other point she brought up was the referees. And we saw this obviously in Game 3 between the Mercury and the Lynx when Collier got hurt. Because she got knocked over, she got hit sticked by somebody, and they did not call a foul. And that led to the Mercury winning that game and Collier being out for the rest of the season, obviously in the last game the Lynx had. So the refereeing has been a problem. You can't say it hasn't been.
I mean, Collier has been hurt half the year. I mean, Collier is your absolute MVP if she does not get hurt. She was injured, she got hurt, and it was a problem by the league. Caitlin Clark got hurt this year, Angel Reese. Your best talent barely even played this year. And if that's not seen as a problem to you, like in the NBA, we see it. We see a few injuries, but most of the injuries that you see in the NBA are caused by non-contact injuries. If you watch NBA injuries that are the worst, it's normally because someone slides, something like that. Watch WNBA injuries. All of them, someone was pushed. Someone was hurt in a bad way, and the fact that you do not see that as a problem, to me, shows you where this league could possibly go.
We'll have to see if the commissioner speaks out about this. Wonder if she steps down or tries to keep going after the fact of Napheesa Collier calling her out. But obviously some drama in the WNBA. But the finals, they begin tonight, their season coming down to a close. So is the MLB. We'll get into the playoffs next. Since we last talked, guys, the wild card has come and gone. We're taking a closer look at these three wild card series that went to a deciding Game 3, beginning with my Yankees and the Red Sox. Obviously, the Yankees are now the first ever team to overcome a 1-0 deficit in this new format of the best-of-3 series. First ever team to lose Game 1 and then win Game 2 and 3. A really good series between two rivals.
What a series from the Yankees. And I mean, I like to see that from the Yankees. I mean, I am a Yankees hater, don't get me wrong, but I'm also a baseball fan, and I acknowledge that the Yankees looked really good this series. And at times, been Aaron Judge 4 for 11, one of the better performances, because he's not a playoff performer, I can tell you that much. And let's look at the man of the hour, maybe the man of the week for the New York Yankees,
Man of the
Cam
month.
Schlittler. 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, and 12 Ks in his debut in the playoffs. What a game.
Yeah, I was completely on the Yankees since the start of this, and then Crochet went 114 pitches and threw a gem of a game, that Game 1. But then the Yankees answered back, a 4-3 win in Game 2, a 4-0 win in Game 3, and I think that really goes against like the defense they've shown. We've talked all year about Anthony Volpe specifically, but really the whole Yankees defense just struggling, and they looked really good. Like just everybody. I saw one drop, a Ben Ryan drop, but it was a foul ball, so it didn't really change anything. But just a fantastic, that's all general, just defense, and the Yankees have stepped up right there.
Yeah, I know the whole year, as a Yankee fan, Anthony Volpe struggled significantly at the shortstop position. But he had some phenomenal plays in this series. He had one that was a high throw from Williams in Game 2. He got his foot down, got the double play ball. Yesterday made a great play to get the ball on a bad throw from Jazz Chisholm. And Jazz played well defensively as well. He had probably a series-saving stop in that game too, and then scored the winning run at the bottom half of the inning. Jazz Chisholm had a phenomenal series himself, and for him, he didn't start game one. I was a little bit angered by that. It didn't start game one, but he proved to be the difference maker in this series against the Red Sox.
And now we look at the next series against the Blue Jays here, and I think I draw the question now with the Red Sox. The Red Sox not exactly an average team. I mean, they do not get the ball and play nearly as much as the team they're going to be going against with the Blue Jays here. The Blue Jays have one of the highest averages in the MLB, and they're going to be getting the ball and play a lot. They're going to test this Yankees defense. How do they keep that defense working?
It's just a mindset at this point. You just got to realize you just played your best, probably defensive series the entire season. Just keep that going. Just keep the right mindset. Just keep it going. Because Volpe, Jazz Chisholm, they both had a really, really good series. If they can get those ground balls, ground them well, they should be just fine.
I'm not a bias to any of these teams other than this table is over here, so I'm going to give my best opinion. I can't see. These two teams are so even. They played so even through the regular season. But the Yankees right now are the hotter team. They played the series. I'm taking the Yankees. They have the better coach. And in the playoffs, that means something. We talked about this, about Jazz not playing the first game. He played the first game because it was a lefty-lefty matchup. That's because Boone knows who to trust, who to put in. He understands that in a playoff game, your best players are going to have to sit in sometimes. And then sometimes you're going to have to play some of your worst players. And that's what they did. They lost game one because of that. I don't think that would have changed anything. Crochet had a fantastic game no matter what. But then Boone coaches the bullpen. Great the next two. I have the Yankees taking it. Aaron Boone is a fantastic manager.
I got the Yankees as well. Charles, I know you're a Blue Jays guy.
And I'm not going to take the Yankees. I'm not going to take the Blue Jays just because I'm a Blue Jays fan. And here's why. The Blue Jays, not only do they have the head-to-head matchup, the 8-5, the last time that the Yankees won this series without Bichette. Now, Bichette is questionable for this series, likely not going to play. I think that the Yankees have the better pitching, but if the Blue Jays get to the Yankees pitching, that's whenever the Blue Jays will take these games. I think that's going to be the biggest what-if.
Guardians, Tigers. You mentioned the Yankees are hot. The Guardians came into the playoffs very hot. The Tigers came in very cold. It did not matter. The Tigers win the series 2-1 in Cleveland.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, honestly. And I think it's unfortunate more because I feel like this is now supporting the argument of not having 3-game series. We just had one of the biggest rivalries of the season in the 3 days, and it just felt kind of anticlimactic. 162 games to build this, and like I said, it just felt kind of anticlimactic. 3 games, very solid games, very close games, but Skubal, I think, getting the MVP because he carried them through game one.
That was a big part of it. Skubal getting game one, getting the ball game one, that kind of set the tone. Detroit getting the less runs we've seen in a game. 2-1 was the final score, and Skubal just stopping one run. That's what really broke it down for Detroit. Then game 2, Cleveland came, and offense. That's the biggest offense I've seen from Cleveland. They had that one breakout inning, and they just didn't go back. And then game 3 happened. Detroit, Flaherty went out there, 4 2/3, 4 Ks and an earned run. That was just lights out from Flaherty, lights out from the bullpen from Detroit. That's a big thing. Their pitching is scary, and that's why they're here right now. That's why they're going to compete against Seattle. I can definitely see them making a run.
My thing, the Tigers, yes, they have good pitching, but the Guardians, they just have no hitting. They can put the ball in play, but it's not very far. They have no pop on their bats. Jose Ramirez didn't have a great series. They came in with one of the worst batting averages in the MLB. They just cannot produce runs when it matters.
The Tigers are cold, and we're looking at a team that cannot produce runs when it matters, but the team they're going against, well, they certainly can.
Yeah.
I think the Mariners are going to whip out a can of, you finish the sentence. I think the Mariners are going to take this one, and I don't think it's going to be close. The Mariners have the better lineup. They have the better pitching staff other than Skubal. I know Skubal's at the top, but 2, 3, 4, I'm taking all the Mariners, I don't see a world where the Tigers take this.
Here's the thing. You might get Skubal for 2 games depending on how things work out. And both of those games are going to favor Detroit because Skubal is just that good. Thing is, the other 3 games is where some problems are going to arise for the Tigers because their other pitching is mediocre at best, Jackson.
I said the Tigers are going to compete. I don't think the Tigers are going to move on. You talk about Seattle. They're a great team. I have them making it all the way to the World Series right now just because the Yankees-Blue Jays series is probably going to go 5 games. Pitchers are going to be tired. Seattle has the easiest run to get there. I have Seattle beating the Tigers, moving on to at least the championship series.
Yeah, I'm also going to agree. I think Seattle wins the series. Probably 3-1 is where I'm going to go right now with Seattle. I just think they're the better team. They have a better pitching, the better lineup overall. They're just a better overall team on paper. I just don't see the Tigers, who came in ice cold into the playoffs, beating this Mariners team, who is red hot so far. Looking into the other series, though, the Cubs and the Padres, the 4-5 in the NL side. The Cubs won game 1, lost game 2, but recovered to win game number 3. The Cubs, I wasn't sure how to feel about them coming into the playoffs, but they get a series win. They move on to play Milwaukee.
The Cubs have fallen under this issue of their scoring is kind of one and done. A lot of their scoring comes from solo shots or singles. Like, not a lot of it's very impressive. They play very small ball, but not small ball at the same time. Their pitching, to me, is not that impressive in the long run. I don't think their starters are amazing. I think their bullpen is what we see a lot of. But I think in a longer series against better teams, this right here is where it's going to be questionable. I think the Brewers do take this one. But, I mean, we saw this series here. The Padres could not hit. They just simply could not finish when they had people in scoring position.
The Cubs did not win this series. The Padres lost it. When your best hitters go, like Merrill went 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. He had that one run that they had in the 9th. Tatis goes 0 for 4. Arias goes 0 for 4. Machado goes 0 for 3. Bogarts goes 1 for 4. You're not going to win games. Those are your 5 best players by far. Some of the best offensive players in the league, and they couldn't get it done. It was just rough. And I will give this to the defense for the Cubs. Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner played fantastic. Dansby Swanson knocked down any single ball that was in front of him. That's why the Cubs won it, but the Padres beat themselves.
And I was impressed by the Cubs pitching as well. They were able to produce those ground balls. They got multiple double plays hit over to Swanson yesterday in that game number 3. The pitching was very good out of the bullpen. I wasn't sure to feel about the Cubs going in the playoffs. They had their moments this season. Obviously, they began the year super hot. They kind of fell down to the Milwaukee Brewers winning the NL Central. But the Cubs, they're still impressive. They have the players to compete in the series against Milwaukee. If Pete Crow Armstrong can continue hitting the baseball the way we know he has been at times this season, the Cubs can compete in this series. And, Bush yesterday, he had a really good game, did Bush. This lineup is capable. Kyle Tucker as well. It's a capable lineup that can compete against the Brewers. And I could see them making this a 5-game series, maybe even taking down Milwaukee. Milwaukee isn't as impressive to me as they are to some people.
I think the biggest thing about Milwaukee that does impress me is the fact that, in my opinion, they win every single pitching matchup on paper. All right, Freddie Peralta is going to be pitching against the Miz. You're going to see Priester. You're going to see Woodruff. This is a team that their pitching staff is bonds and leaps above the Cubs, who really, in my opinion, Matthew Boyd is the only real shining star there in the pitching staff.
Yeah, the only issue I have about this series is going to be the best one, I think. You have a division rival who competed for the division all year, but the Brewers are one of the worst postseason teams every single year. They can never get it. They always make it to a wild card or just a little bit farther, and then they lose. They always sell. I still think they're going to squeeze this one out. It's just going to be a tight one.
Yeah, and as we look at some of the advantages that the Cubs are going to have, we're going to talk about home field advantage. And for this week's Foster 5, I'm talking about the best 5 home field advantages left in the playoffs. And at number 5, we have Wrigley Field. We see the Cubbies, and we all know about the Cubbies and how they feel, how it's been. I know for most of us, I think all of us have all been to Wrigley Field. And, what do you think that home field advantage does for them against a team like the Brewers?
It's an older stadium, but the environment there is about second to none. And it's a beautiful field as well. I mean, you have obviously that moss back in the out in the outfield. It's just a beautiful stadium, and their crowd and their fan base, especially in the bleachers, it's just so much fun out there.
It hurts me to say this, but Wrigley environment is beautiful. I don't like their stadium. Their moss, you mentioned it, and it's good for 2 months and then it dies. But I mean, their environment, their bleacher crowd, their beer snakes. I mean, they love having fun out there, and that's what they do.
At number 4, we have T-Mobile Park in Seattle, another park that has a pretty good fan base, but they have a lot of playoff success, so there's not exactly a lot to go off of.
I would have them below Wrigley. I think just the environment alone puts Wrigley above T-Mobile, but I still like this being here. Seattle fans, they're here and there, but they're pretty good.
When Seattle's good, Seattle fans show up. I remember the game last year at the end of regular season, the one that they clinched to clinch the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they had the walk-off win. That was one of the most electric regular season games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it was in Seattle. I mean, the excitement, the atmosphere that T-Mobile Park has. Even I went to T-Mobile Park against an Astros game. Jordan hit the cycle, and it was still loud in there for the entire game, cheering for Seattle. I mean, they have great fans. I have Seattle.
Yeah, and that was the game I was referring to, but a stadium that gets overrun by another fan base. Seattle at number 3, we have Rogers Center, another place that has been bumping an entire country rooting for them. I've been there myself multiple times, and like we said, the reason why I put Rogers over is because when the Blue Jays come to Seattle, the Blue Jays have equal amount of fans in Seattle because of the Montreal area. So it's hard for me to put that team over whenever you get invaded But I think Rogers Center at number 3. It's going to be rocking for one of the first playoff series ever against the Yankees.
I mean, they have a whole country behind them. All of Canada is behind this Blue Jays team, and with them being number 1 seed and they haven't won in a while, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I don't think they should be higher than T-Mobile or Wrigley. I think they should be 5th, but they should be on this list. I just think Seattle and the Cubs have a better fan base than Toronto does.
Fair enough. At number 2, though, we have the Yankees. The Yankees, I hate putting them there. I hate the Yankees, but and excuse the accent there. It's not supposed to be Fenway, but Yankee Stadium at number 2, and we see this. That is the biggest thing. Is this Yankees team is so passionate. New York fans are so passionate.
The bleacher creatures, that's what they are.
The bleacher creatures.
They are something else, man. The bleacher creatures are a whole lot of fun. It's going to be a good crowd there.
Yeah, New York has always this atmosphere. That's that 27 rings that they bring in, and they're fantastic. I mean, they have to be on this list.
And at number 1, best fan base, or the worst, if you want to say, the Phillies. They are terrifying. They might, destroy the city if they win again, but the Phillies go at number 1 here, and for obvious reasons.
Philadelphia fans never cease to amaze me from the things they find and figure out to do after a win. They will take down the entire city if they have to, if they win a game.
You won't know if they won or lost if you look at the city based on how it looks after.
The one argument I do have against the Phillies is it feels like the regular season crowd and their playoff crowd are very similar. And sometimes you look at like Yankee Stadium, the playoffs, you can feel a difference. Especially in T-Mobile, you feel a difference. In Philly, you really don't feel much of a difference. They're still crazy fans, I will say that, but it kind of feels the same.
8 teams left, 5 environments there. We'll get down to maybe our last 4 when we come back next week. We're going to have ALCS and NLCS talk next week. Whole lot of fun. We play off Yankees, Blue Jays. Our 2 teams going at it this week. Go Yankees.